SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing UFC 164 right now with Nick Kalikas, a professional MMA odds maker from MMAoddsbreaker.com, and also from MMAoddsbreaker.com, MMA writer and handicapper Adam Martin. All right, guys. Featured fight, Anthony Pettis, Benson Henderson. Now, I'm used to these featured fights having, minus 600 favorites, minus 800 favorites. This is going to be an awesome fight. Super competitive line. Henderson, right now, I'm seeing him at minus 115. Anthony Pettis at 105. It's understandable why these lines are so competitive. It's almost feels like a coin flip, but that makes me think that if you can identify a tiny edge one way or the other, that there might be some value. Both these guys, have great jaws. They're both going to be in great shape. It's going to be a competitive fight. Pettis' only weakness maybe could be wrestling, but I'm thinking that Pettis' striking will be the advantage here, and that maybe I would take him at minus 105. Nick Kalikas, what do you think of that assessment?
Well, he's going to definitely have the advantage striking here, no doubt, especially recently, man. He's looked so good. I mean, you can't take anything away from him. The problem that I have with Pettis, though, right now, I mean, he's been a little bit inactive with injuries and whatnot, too, as well. But this fight is in his backyard. He's stepping in as a replacement for TJ Grant, and a lot of people really wanted to see this fight. So This should be definitely a barn burner, man, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's probably going to be one of the better fights of the year. And Henderson is always involved in close decisions, no matter how you look at it, it seems. So this is probably going to be another one.
Adam Martin, what do you think? You think Pettis might have the slight advantage and he might have a tiny bit of value at minus 105?
Yeah, I like Anthony Pettis here too, actually. He's going to have the hometown edge. We should mention that as well. He's going to be fighting in Milwaukee. That doesn't hurt. I mean, this fight probably goes the distance. Like I think it's going to go to the cards. If there's going to be a stoppage here, I think it's going to be Pettis knocking out Henderson. I know he has a good chin or good recovery, I should say. He's been knocked down a few times, but he does get back up pretty quick. But Pettis is a finisher, man. So he could finish the fight, but I do say hitting the cards. And while it should be competitive, I mean, he won the first fight. I see him winning the fight again. He knows how to, he knows the formula to beat Benson Henderson. He did it once. I think he's gonna do it again. So, the one thing that does scare me is obviously the injuries, like Nick mentioned. The fact that he pulled out of the fight with Jose Aldo, and a few weeks later now he's getting this fight. So he was injured, but he says he's healthy. I mean, they all say they're healthy. Yeah. So it's hard to say what that really means. But at the same time, based on all the things we know, I do think there are enough edges here on Anthony Pettis to probably warrant a bet at minus 105 as well.
And you mentioned going the distance. Over 4.5 rounds is minus 150. That's a little bit steep, but maybe it does still have value. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there might be a little value there too. I actually do. And you can maybe even hedge it with Pettis by knockout, because I think that's the only way someone's going to stop someone in this fight. I mean, I know Henderson has that nasty submission game, but I think Pettis is just as good on the ground. So I don't really see a submission happening. And I don't see Henderson knocking Pettis out. So maybe if you do that, you hedge small with Pettis by TKO, which is plus 440 at 5 times. That's not a bad way of going about it either, I don't think.
Nick Kalikas, what kind of action have you been seeing with a marquee fight like this with such competitive lines?
Well, I opened the line around $1.60 or so for Ben Henderson. So
really?
Early action did come in, on Anthony Pettis. But you got to take in consideration, a lot of people believe that Bendo kind of, in the first fight, he didn't use his wrestling enough. A lot of people believe that he is going to use his wrestling more here because he's been so dominant with that. So he's going to be more of a challenge, I guess, for Pettis. But matchups are everything. And, the reason why Pettis matched up great with him the first time is just the way they really match up together. I know it sounds cliche to say, but Pettis' takedown defense continues to improve, and his striking is just getting a little bit more vicious. I mean, not many people expected him to stop Cerrone the way he did. So, and not many people will do that again. So that was very impressive. He's got the confidence. I mean, Joe Lozon, again, another knockout victim to it. By the hands of Pettis as well. So I think he's going to come into this fight the best Pettis we've ever seen. But a lot of people are going to also support Ben Henderson because they're going to think he's going to stick more to a wrestling game plan in this fight and probably be able to use it. So it's a tough one to bet because I realistically could see it go either way here. But I think if it's going to be another close decision, you got to lean towards Pettis a little bit because in his hometown, whether you want to admit or not, the judges are probably going to be swayed a little bit more towards him. The crowd is going to be so behind Pettis. It's unbelievable. And the guy is ultra popular. And again, given the recent decisions with Ben Henderson have been so close that's why I think you do have to lean that way towards Pettis, even by decision. But if there is going to be a stoppage, I agree with you guys, it's probably going to be Pettis again continuing his role.
I agree with you. So then why would you open it at Benson Henderson minus 160? Were you expecting and wanting action on Pettis?
No, not at all. I thought actually that the line was a fair spot to open because of Ben Henderson being the champ. Because look at the line against Gilbert Melendez. I mean, I bet on Melendez in his last fight. That was another split decision. Arguably, Melendez won that fight. So if you look at the recent odds, I mean, that line was like around 3-1 or so for Ben Henderson. It was ridiculously high. So he does tend to get a little bit overhyped at times, So I honestly felt that the public would probably support Ben Henderson. We might see some movement up and down. And I do think as we get closer to fight day that Henderson is going to get bet, and that line's probably going to be shifting towards maybe 130, 140. I could see it going that way for Ben Henderson. So he's going to probably be around this slight favorite anyway. Now, of course, at this time, the lines are a little bit tighter too. You're going to see 20-cent lines instead of 40-cent lines at opening sometime as well. So that kind of crunches the number. So it's kind of going to be ballpark, I think, on fight day as well.
All right. Well, I personally would have loved to get Pettis at plus 140, and I think I'd still take him at minus 105, and that seems what you guys seem to be saying as well. And also, I agree with Adam Martin. Over 4.5 rounds at minus 150 probably has a little bit of value as well. Thanks, guys.